So we just helped one of our real estate investors get 3 wholesale deals under contract in the past 18 days using a brand new Facebook ad and AI booking bot strategy. So in this video, I'm going to break down the numbers from Facebook ads, show you behind the curtain of what it costs to get a deal, where these deals were, and show you, that this is in fact a real case study from an active client. This is literally from today. And I'm also going to show you the old system and the new system that we're running and really just the raw math behind this system. So with that being said, let's get into it. So first of all, for the past 6 years, I have been working in the real estate industry, creating paid ad systems and automation systems. Within the last 3 years, I've focused specifically on real estate investors and helping them find off-market deals. And so over these past 3 years, there's been quite a few changes with Facebook ads. We literally went through, 2020 and everything that happened in 2020. The real estate market currently has shifted quite a bit. Content and the ads that were working, 3 years ago aren't quite the ads that are working now. So there's been quite a bit of changes that I've observed in the last 6 years, and in the last 3 years specifically, there's been quite a few changes as well. And so I want to share with you, what we are doing today as a real estate marketing agency, helping investors find off-market deals. And I'm going to do my best to share with you practical tips for, running these campaigns for yourself, or just learning about if Facebook ads is, a potential lead source for you and your market. So let's get into the actual numbers. So this is a screenshot here from one of our client ad accounts. Now, this is the Facebook Ads Manager. So if you're not familiar with what this is, very simply put, this is basically where Facebook shows you your advertising data. So in the past 18 days of working with this client, they have spent $2,400, so $2,416, and they've generated what Facebook shows as 31 leads. But this is not an accurate number of leads, nor is the lead cost accurate. So the real numbers are as followed, and I'll explain kind of why this is. It's basically Facebook's tracking is inaccurate, but the client did spend $2,416, and they generated 39 leads, so not 31. And their cost per lead is $61 on this specific campaign, and their cost per contract is $805, and that's because they have gotten 3 deals under contract. So 3 deals under contract out of 39, so 3 out of 40, and basically cost per contract $805. Now, that's kind of the high-level overview of the actual ad spend, the number of leads that were generated and how much those leads cost. Now, let's get into the actual overview of the system, because the Facebook ads component of running good ads is just one, part of the formula. The second, thing that I've seen is a part of the formula after, working with different people in real estate and building these types of systems really comes down to the back end automation. So you can run really good ads. And don't get me wrong, if you run really, really good ads and you know how to get quality leads, even if you're not the best at following up and reaching out to people, you're still going to close deals and make money as long as you have a decent operation, right? But if you really want to maximize what you're doing when it comes to paid ads, the back-end automation and what I'll be talking about in this video about what the newest version of what we're doing is pretty important. So let me kind of break down the old system that I've created. And when I say old system, don't get me wrong, like you could run this system right now and do extremely well, right? There's only a few little tweaks that I've made, and you'll see that down below as to how I intend on getting better results for my actual clients. And I also think that, if you're just running the ads and you're not leveraging the automation, you're really not, you're really not maximizing someone's attention. Like when they fill out that form or whatever it is that they're doing, I mean, that's really the time to initiate conversation with them. So I'll show you how we're doing that, down here. But the older system is a little bit more simple to understand the framework of how this works. And I've put some sample numbers here just to kind of break down, some actual numbers and, amount of leads, amount of appointments and deals. I'm going to change these just so it's a little bit more simple to understand. So usually for every, 100 leads that someone's going to get, from a Facebook ad to a survey, they're going to get 25 automated appointments. And so right here, they're probably going to be at 3 deals if they're on point. If they're not as on point, I would say 2. But conservatively speaking, 2. If you're more on point, you know what you're doing, 3 to 4. So here's how this system works. So basically you run an actual Facebook ad, right? So this is one piece of the formula. You run a Facebook ad inside of the Facebook ad manager. And once you run that actual ad, and I have tons of videos on running ads, running seller ads, like I literally show, what it is that I'm referring to. So you can go through the channel and check those out. But you got to first run the actual ad. Okay. So once you run the ad, then, people click off of that ad and they go to what we design a survey, right? Some people do lead form, some people do form. I've just found that a survey works best. And, I'll tell you a little bit more, why in just a second, but you run a Facebook ad to a simple survey. Now that survey will collect, the reason that the homeowner needs to sell, if they're behind on their payments, condition of the property, address, name, email, phone number, right? And in general, the more questions you add, the higher your cost per lead. Okay. So let's say I like to give really extreme examples, because once you have an extreme example, you kind of understand the concept. At least that's my belief. So let's just say, for example, the survey has, two simple questions like reason for wanting to sell and the property address, name, email, phone, right? So let's just say, that's the survey. And then, we're getting a cost per lead of, let's say, $50. So let's just say you go into that survey and you add 30 questions. You literally ask every single thing you could think of when it comes to, information about that property. This will skyrocket, okay? And some people don't understand why it skyrockets, but it's very simple. Facebook charges you per impression, okay? So you get charged per 1,000 impressions, regardless of if people click, whatever they do. If Facebook shows the ad to somebody, you're going to get charged, right? And this is called a CPM. And so basically, if your ad performs well, if it doesn't perform well, Facebook's going to collect your money. So why does the cost per lead skyrocket? Well, it skyrockets because you're still serving the same amount of impressions, right? And your cost per impressions may not even be going up, but your cost per lead, which is just, how many people, right, took an action on your website, divided by the amount of ad spend, right, starts to just go up because less people are going to do that bigger, longer action. So nothing really changes in terms of like, if your ad is still good, you're still going to show ads to those same people, but there's just going to be a drop off of the amount of people that actually go through that process, right? So that is how, the Facebook ad to the actual survey works, okay? And so we found just a sweet spot of just a few questions and then all the relevant information to contact the actual person, right? That's what we found to be the sweet spot, because if you over-index on trying to get a lot of questions answered and you don't have the spend, you're going to end up with, in theory, these high-quality leads. But in reality, at the end of the day, I've seen, people get results from Facebook with the most simple name, email, phone, right? So if you got no one to talk to and you're spending thousands of dollars, it's not necessarily going to always outperform somebody that's just getting a consistent lead flow and not really thinking that any one lead is going to be like a miracle. So I kind of tend to lean more on that part of the equation, because for me, I understand that there's the marketing hat that you have to put on, which is producing a system or creating a system that produces leads and having the automation and all the other pieces in place. And then there's the business owner hat, which is, you want your marketing system to be simple and efficient and easy to troubleshoot and easy to basically, keep going, right? So you can sustain it. And so if you have all these different moving parts and they in theory seem good, I usually have found that those are just the hardest to maintain. You can never diagnose what's going on. Right here, it's very simple. If, let's just say, the cost per lead goes up, we know that the ad is fatiguing, right? Because let's say that the same amount of people are seeing the ad, but they're not actually clicking, onto the survey. Well, then we know, okay, well, that's why the lead cost is going up, because this ad is not either showing to the correct group of people that are more likely to go to the survey and fill it out. But it's basically very simple to troubleshoot. Like, the ads need to be refreshed. The ad is fatiguing. It's really just on the ad side. You maybe need new copy. You may need new, a new headline or something like that. But in general, once you nail down the formula of like what's going to make a successful ad, and really it's a proven offer, you're really just refreshing the creative, which is like the ad image or the ad video. And then you're, basically relaunching that and giving Facebook a fresh start. So usually, as long as the same percentage of people are still, opting into the actual survey, which, we see probably like 10%. So for every 100 people that click over here, a certain percent actually just fall off like from the ad to the survey. But to keep it very simple, we need 1,000 clicks to basically get, 100 people to fill that out, 10%, right? So it's very simple to see, okay, Facebook ad to the survey. Cool. Once we get the survey, the back-end automation kicks in, which I'll talk more about in the new system. But immediately when the contact fills out the survey, you need to have a text that basically acknowledges what they filled out. If you don't have that, or you're waiting a day or 2 days, the odds of somebody forgetting or confusing you with another company is very high. It doesn't mean they still couldn't be serious, but with the nature of investing and what we do and help people with, they may be getting multiple, filling out multiple ads, contacting multiple investors. So the faster we provide a response to them, acknowledging their request, letting them know what company we're from, and then starting the process of like getting them on board with speaking to, one of the acquisition managers, then the better, right? So Facebook ad to survey, immediate acknowledgement of the text. The second option, or the second step of the actual funnel, which are these 3 steps, is, hey, you just filled out this survey. Let me make a calendar available to you so that you can actually book a time to speak to me, not me, but the client, like our client, which would be the acquisitions manager, because right here is where you have people's attention, right? They saw the ad, they clicked on the ad, they filled out the ad. So that's when they're in that, action mode, right? I mean, you can look at yourself, right? You may be seeing some sort of, whatever video or piece of content, you're ready to sign up, and there's not an availability to sign up, or you got to go through this complicated process, right? So by having the calendar available, it's super simple. I think a lot of people don't do this because they just don't think anyone will book. But you'd be surprised, the more I've spent money on ads and marketing systems, that the more I realize that if you just make something available to somebody and it's simple and there's not a way for them to get confused, they'll do it. A small percentage of them, depending on what you're asking them to do. But so many people just don't even put a calendar because they don't know how, or whatever. It's too complicated with whatever system they're using. And so they just don't even have it. So we pick up, 25% of these leads will automatically book appointments just because the calendar is there. And then we collect even more information. So after they fill out the survey, they go to the calendar. Once they fill out the calendar, then they're just rerouted to a thank you page. And then there's notifications that go to our client and the actual homeowner that just acknowledges the appointment and all that good stuff. So at the end of the day, right, we provide an entire system for our clients to communicate with the leads, all the automation we provide as well. And so when it's all said and done, after 100 leads, they should be getting 3 deals, okay? Conservatively, they're going to get 2, but this is the math that I've seen. So it really just comes down to creating better ads, right? So that you can reduce your cost per lead while still maintaining the same quality, so that your cost per actual deal goes down, okay? So typically too, if someone's wholesaling, this may end up being 6 contracts or so. And depending on the experience of the wholesaler, some deals may fall through. It's just kind of the nature of the game. But 3 deals out of 100, 2 to 3, are going to be deals that, our client actually makes a significant profit from. And, at this point, I'm working with very experienced investors, and, that's who I work with at this point. So this is the numbers with, this is what the numbers look like when, you have investors that have an operation, that have an acquisitions manager, and basically have a system in place to work these leads. And, our job is to come up with good creative ads to reduce the cost per lead and build automation to make it easier for the consumer to get in contact with our client. And when you do that, and you know how to negotiate good deals, Facebook ads can be extremely profitable. And, I've only talked to, my group of clients that are using our services, but usually they'll do PPC and Facebook. And, I've heard consistently that Facebook ads, this is from them, right? But Facebook ads can be very effective in terms of cost. You'll probably get more leads just in general. Your cost per lead is going to be lower. Your like conversion rate will probably be lower too, just because you're getting more leads. But cost per deal from Facebook ads, from the investors I've spoken to that have spent quite a bit of money on ads, say that Facebook ads is really awesome because of, you know, the cost that you can get the deal for. So that's the old system. Okay. And like I said, you can run with that type of a system. And I've got videos on how to do all this stuff and set this stuff up. So you can just type on YouTube, you know, Quinn Nolan motivated sellers, and you'll see different stuff pop up. And you can set this up, and, you know, you're going to have everything you need, really, right? Now, what I want to talk about now is the new system that we're running, and just some slight modifications that we've made, and just really the, just really some of like the direction that I see this going to. So let me change this. It looks like I didn't complete this. So let me just adjust this to 3 deals. Okay. So basically, before I share the new system, this is what I've observed. Okay. And this is, like I said, this is not from, you know, $20 in ad spend and I watched a video and I, you know, maybe I kind of like, this is a theory or something. Like, this is just one ad account that I have pulled up, and, you know, this is actually, it's funny, this is actually an old, not an old ad account, but this was a secondary ad account that we had to create. But basically, this is just one ad account. So at this point, for real estate specifically, I've managed well over $1.5 million of Facebook ads, and per month, you know, I'd have to double check right now, but definitely over $40,000 of ads that are, you know, that I'm getting an eye on literally every single month, through the Facebook side, right? Like, what's actually working, what's not working. And then, you know, on top of that, the back end, right? So you'll see here, like, there's actual, not only am I seeing the Facebook ad metrics and clicks and all that, which I've started to care less and less about, you know, years ago, but I'm seeing all that, like the clicks and the, you know, the CTR, and seeing the cost per 1,000 impressions, and, you know, the people that are booking appointments and all that good stuff. But I'm also seeing the conversations. Okay. And I'm actually hearing the phone calls, and I'm actually seeing how the consumer is shifting, right? And I'll talk more about this, but just from pre-2020, because I was running this system like right during 2020 when everything was happening. I'm not saying specifically that word because I think it'll like flag my video, but everyone knows what happened in 2020. So I was running this system all throughout 2020, like this one that I'm showing you here. And I saw the shift in like what was happening prior, and then what started to happen during, right? And how people were starting to like send photos and just be more open to the idea of like working with somebody virtual to sell their house, and do it literally over text. We have deals that, if you go on my YouTube, that people have closed just via text, okay? Just via text, never a phone call. So this is why, you know, the reason I say this is because, number one, I have actual experience with this stuff, and it's not like I'm just, okay, I'm telling you off of $1,000 in ad spend in one little market, right? This is serious, like, ad spend that, you know, it's not a ton, but it's enough to say, okay, it's probably, you know, statistically significant enough to say what I'm going to say here. So number one is, which is part of the new system, a bot, but serious leads will complete the bot unless they're unable to, right? Like they have a landline or something like that. But so you still need to call those people, but serious leads that get a text message delivered to us, respond to the text automation, even from this system, okay? Because the majority of the deals that I've helped investors close have come from here, okay? Let's not get it twisted. The new system that I've basically put into place within the last 3 weeks still has not been the majority of the deals, just because this has been running for longer, right? And I didn't really change this. You'll see this as I walk through this, but from what I've observed, serious leads will complete the bot unless they're unable to. And I can go through tons of client accounts, show you all these different deals that we found, and basically show you, hey, this lead closed, our client made X amount of money, and there he or she is responding to the automation. Okay, so there wasn't anyone, that I'd have to probably double check everything, but I don't think there was anyone that closed on a deal and they didn't respond to the text. At some point there was texting going on. So texting is huge. So anyone that's not doing that, not cold texting like the way I'm talking about, I think you're missing a huge opportunity, and I'll show you why. But serious leads will complete the bot unless they're unable to. Serious leads will also send photos of their property. They have no problem sending photos of their property, and I'll show you. They'll even like jump on a FaceTime with you and show you the property right then and there. Serious leads also don't care that stuff is automated. I see people that, I'm speaking to the investors right now, but I see people that watch my content that, are digital marketers creating their own agencies, whatever. And, I share content to help them too and add value. And I see agency owners and digital business owners trying to hide that there's AI and trying to make it all like it's not AI. And it's like, I've never found that I never understood the point of that. Like if I call, a phone company or something and I'm trying to get service, or I'm calling whatever, I don't care if someone answers and it's a pre-recorded voicemail and it routes me to the right person or whatever. I wouldn't care if I was only talking to AI for stuff that I need. So, people want the solution. So it's the same with these homeowners. I've seen them. I didn't take a screenshot of it, but there was an actual lead. Hold on, let me show you, because that's one of the things on this channel. It's like if I have something I want to share, I want to actually show it. So give me a sec. Okay, so while I was in my actual client's account to grab that screenshot I was telling you about, this person just filled out the bot right now. You can see it's 6:48 p.m. Tuesday, October 24th. And, this was 10 minutes ago. They just went through this whole bot. There was 10 questions here, but I didn't screenshot every little part of it. But this is happening right now. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing was what I was going to show you originally, which was people do not care that things are automated. So here's proof. So basically, I told you guys that I literally launched what I'm telling you about like within the last 3 weeks. So when I move fast. And so there was an error with the way that I had configured a specific setting. And so this lead on the 20th, a different lead, different, same account, like client account, but different day, different conversation than this one. And basically part of the bot says, say yes, to get started after they fill out the form. And I'll walk you through that over here. But he said yes. And then, 6 hours later, he said yes again. And because of the setting, I didn't actually it was an error on my end. So I jumped in and messaged him, and, then the bot started, and this is basically the end of the bot. And he just right on the spot, answered, all 10 of the questions. So this is not theory. This is actual proof. Like these people don't care about bots and that they're automated. So, and I'm telling you firsthand, because I literally told this guy, like, I'm restarting the system. Like I'm restarting it. I probably could have said, I'll restart the automation. Like it doesn't matter. Right. So you got to kind of, that's more for my, my people that I guess doubt the automation or don't want to make people upset or whatever it is. It's like, I don't know, if you have a clean process to get people through, I really don't think the actual people that convert care. That's based on my experience and all that. And here's to prove that serious leads will also send photos of their property. This was just somebody else going through the bot. And then, I probably could pull, I don't know how many people that sent photos from this bot. So that really kind of leads to, this main objective. So let me show you this new system now and what we're doing. And yeah, I'll just walk you through it. So the main objective of the new system, which is, very similar, just, some slight variation, is one, I want to be able to send Facebook better data at a lower cost. So basically, I'm not going to get into this in this video, but if you're familiar with Facebook, there's something called a conversion API. And so what you can do is when people fill out, when people take certain actions within your CRM, you can send that data to Facebook. And so with this new system, we can not only collect them, not only get them to fill out a survey, but then if they go through this entire SMS bot that I've built, we can send that data to Facebook when, somebody completes the actual bot. So this was the first intention, like send Facebook better data at a lower cost without making the survey a lot longer, right? Because once you get someone to opt in and they're responding to the text, it's virtually pennies, right? So the other objective was to reduce the cost per contract. And really, the overlying theme of this entire new system is just speed, right? Like making it faster and easier for people to like get in contact with what they inquired about, not just leaving this whole lag time of like, okay, we're following up with you. It's like, you got to run it, just automate it. That's what I think. So reduce the cost per contract, reduce the time spent for my clients to get the contract to, reduce the cost per real lead. So obviously you're going to generate a certain number of leads from Facebook that fill out a survey, but you're going to have real leads, people you're talking to. So I want to reduce that cost by sending better data to Facebook. And also reduce the cost per live transfer or just phone call connection, and really save a lot of time for my actual client, so that they're not wasting as much time like trying to get people on the actual phone. So cost, right, isn't necessarily straight from Facebook, but let's say that our client is paying an acquisitions manager a salary. Well, if that acquisitions manager has to spend, let's say, 3 or 4 less hours to get a contract, or maybe even more, I think it can be way more, depending on what the time was spent previously. But if that, employee becomes more productive and they don't have to spend as much time, then their hour becomes worth more, because it's like, hey, you're only spending time on serious leads. So that's kind of how the cost comes into play here. And we've already seen this assist. I mean, with like this one's live, right? Almost 10 minutes before, right? This is right now. And this person just goes through this whole thing. My client jumps in and then boom, gets a response. So this is the power of these systems, guys. So we also want to automate the lead and to a qualified conversation, because we can tell based on those questions from the bot if there's probably a deal there. Okay. It's pretty easy to tell if you get 10, 15 questions answered by the lead, they're sending photos, and you can just tell by how they're responding if there's a potential deal. So I really believe this is going to be a huge game changer and probably the bread and butter part of my entire service. So that's what I'm believing, and also improve the consumer experience. So at the end of the day, there are homeowners on the other end seeing the ads. And so if we can make the experience better for them, where they're filling something out, they're getting in contact with, a professional who can help them get what they want, easier, faster, and more convenient, then I think everything's going to just, trend upward. So with that being said, what's the new system? So you probably can piece it together at this point from what I've shared. So everything is pretty much the exact same, except what automation is in the actual middle of them filling out the survey and going to the calendar. So still run the same Facebook ads. I mean, there's some slight variations and new things we're doing with the ads, but nothing meaningful enough to note here in terms of this. Facebook ads are always kind of an iterative process that you're testing things out with. So basically, Facebook ad, shortening the form to, just collecting the property address, the contacts, name, email, and phone number. And that way we have a valid property address that's connected to the bot. So I'm going to put this here because I changed this up here. But basically, once someone fills out the address, name, email, and phone, we're going to text them immediately and basically call out that specific address and get them to start the bot by doing what I call a double opt-in. So the other reason that I've made this change too is with the A2P restrictions and, people not being able to get in contact with leads, this double opt-in really helps, because let's say somebody fills out a form, you text them immediately with their address, and then you get them to say, let's get started or whatever, I'm interested. And then once they say that, you say, okay, first things first, are you interested in, a cash offer, or are you interested in selling your house, right? And then they say yes to that, and then the bot starts. It's like, dude, you saw an ad, you filled out our form, you started our bot, and then you confirmed that you're interested in like what we're actually going to help you with. And now it's like, okay, we're going to start answering or asking you some of these questions. And then from there, like I said, I could have put 20 screenshots here, but these are people sending photos, and these are people filling all this stuff out, right? In text message. So I don't have this data, right? Because it's still too early. I mean, I have the data, but it's still too early to make it anything meaningful of like, here's how many people that I sent through here. Here's how many people opted in, and I'll eventually get that stuff. But right now it's still too early for me to like share it and say, okay, this has been tested with this much ad spend. But the core of the system will stay the same, the numbers, but I really think it's going to reduce the amount of time our client has to spend to get someone serious. It's going to make it way easier to manage. And I ultimately think there's going to be, a increase of conversations that get started initially when they actually opt in, because we already had automation. It just wasn't tailored to route these leads through like an entire process. And I was like, okay, is this going to work? Or I don't know. And then as soon as I tested it, if you look back my last few videos, people were going through it immediately. And that was when I was like, all right, I'm going to start plugging it in. So I've only plugged it on a few accounts. So, once I plug this in across all the accounts, and, for the people that do the done with you option that we have, which I'll talk more about in a second, I'll have probably, within 45 days, I'll probably have, $50,000 of ads going through this thing and seeing, what happens. So I'm excited to share it with you. So that's what we're doing. Here's my quick call to action. If you're an investor and you're looking for done for you services to basically do what it is that I'm sharing with you, you're looking for off-market deals to fix and flip, or wholesale, or basically do whatever you want. I mean, my bread and butter clients are people that are, fixing and flipping or wholesaling. But anyone that needs off-market deals technically, but like I said, my bread and butter are investors that look for single family properties to fix and flip or wholesale. So if you want done for you services where I will basically run the paid ads that we have that are proven and have this automation plug and play into your ad account. You can get started here. You can basically just go to newbreedinvestor.com. You can book a paid consultation from, these YouTube videos. I would get quite a bit of people that are just, booking these calls. So, I had to kind of block it that way. So everything's transparent and upfront here. This is our service fee. This is your minimum ad spend. And you can read more here about, what the service is, what do you have to do, how does it work? It's a month-to-month agreement. You can cancel anytime. I talk about the numbers. It takes 50 leads to get one off-market deal conservatively, and we'll launch in 24 hours. So you can book a call here with me. You'll talk to me. I'll make sure that your markets qualify, that we're a good fit to work together, and you can basically get started there. So that'll be linked below. And then I also have a done with you option. So we have a software where you can basically run your own Facebook ads from inside of our software. And you can basically use this exact system I'm showing you, but you're running the actual ads. And in this video, I do like a quick demo of, choosing one of our ad templates, putting in your budget, putting in your markets. And I timed it over here and basically show how, within about 3 minutes, you have a proven Facebook ad ready to go, all the automation there on the back end and stuff like that, some testimonials and all that good stuff. So you can go and check this out on this link. So you'll see that linked below. But done for you, you basically would rather pay the expert to do it for you, and you have, the money and you don't have the time or care to do it. And done with you more, maybe you've got the time and not so much the money, and you'd rather do it yourself and take control. Still would quote you the same on the ad spend. But yeah, you can go to the first link for done for you and basically book in a call with me to make sure that we're a fit. And if you want to do it yourself, you can actually sign up directly on this site for $297 a month, and you'll get instant access to the software, and you can run your own ads and stuff like that. So wanted to share this with you guys because nothing excites me more than getting clients real results. That's my favorite thing to do. So this is what we're up to. See you in the next video. Peace.